Today in Minnesota, a lieutenant in the division that trains officers on use of force testified that Derek Chauvin's use of his knee to subdue George Floyd may have gone too far. We want to be bringing in now our legal analyst, LaFonda Middleton of the Middleton Law Firm. Ms. Middleton, thank you for joining us tonight. The testimony from Minneapolis police today indicated that officers are trained to stop that use of force once the subject stops resisting. What has been the most compelling testimony so far this week?
So far this week, that actually has been the most compelling testimony, and that came from the chief of police himself. So typically, we don't see police officers turning on police officers, testifying against police officers. You may have heard of the blue wall of silence. We have not seen that in this case. We heard from the sergeant on Friday, Officer Zimmerman, I can't remember if he's a sergeant, and we heard from the police chief today saying, no, this was absolutely outside of training, absolutely excessive force.
I want to play a soundbite for us directly testifying, the police chief saying that Chauvin's use of force went too far. Listen to what he testified to today.
Clearly, when Mr. Floyd was no longer responsive and even motionless, to continue to apply that level of force is not part of our training, and it is certainly not part of our ethics or our values.
So the police chief testifying that Chauvin did not follow protocol. It really looks as if these prosecutors are relying primarily on one argument, that Chauvin violated his training. How does the defense counter that argument?
Well, so you hear the defense chipping away at the state's strong case, and the state has some pretty substantial witnesses that have had some pretty damaging testimony, but they are still focusing on the fact that Floyd had drugs in his system. The fact that these drugs can also cause asphyxiation. One main thing that came out in the police chief's testimony is he admitted that on one view on one of the cameras, it appears as though the knee was not on George Floyd's neck, but it was actually on his shoulder. And this goes straight to their argument that it was not the actions of Derek Chauvin that killed George Floyd, but George Floyd's actions himself of the drug use and possible overdose.
Well, Ms. Middleton, we thank you for your time and your perspective. We will be checking back in with you for more analysis as this trial progresses. And we have the very latest on the Derek Chauvin trial right now on the First Coast News app. Scroll down just a couple of stories. You'll find live feeds and blogs with the very latest on the trial.